If you haven't been watching the College World Series, Michigan is a team that likes to put pressure on a defense. You'll see them get on. You'll see them run a lot, like to the tune of over 100 stolen bases this season. And they really do like to move once they are in position to do that. Thomas will lead things off. He's a .268 hitter. A senior, 5'7", 165 out of Chicago, Illinois.
All right, boys, everybody ready? Let's go.
With the voice of Perry Costello, the home plate umpire. And the first pitch in there for a strike for Mason Hickman.
No surprise early on in this ball game, the shadows are going to impact not only the hitters, the catchers, the umpires, but also the left side of the infield and outfield.
Fastball, this one might be playable. It's heading towards the seats and it will drift about 6 rows deep. So Hickman ahead 0-2. 8-0, 2.08 ERA. Vanderbilt has won the last 16 games that guy has started. Through 6 innings against Louisville, didn't give up a run. No swing, 1-2.
Without Jordan Wogu, his on-base percentage .435 on the season. Akeo Thomas, .370.
And that one into left field, it's going to get down. Good start for Akeo Thomas and Michigan. Just feels, boys, that the way that Tommy Henry dominated game 1 and Kumar Rocker dominated game 2, we may be in store for a little more offense tonight.
Could see it. Akeo Thomas likes hitting in a leadoff spot now. Had been in the 9-hole for Michigan this entire run. Injury to Wogu. Akeo Thomas in the leadoff spot. It doesn't take long for Michigan to get their first hit tonight. One thing to watch with Hickman, that fastball, he needs to be elevated above the belt. If it's belt high or a little bit below, you'll see good swings from Michigan.
All right, here's Jesse Franklin. The off-speed pitch at 72 misses. Franklin blasted his 13th home run of the year against the Florida State Seminoles. Went over the right field wall. Second pitch of the game in that one. And that, of course, is the Mike Martin team as he ends his 40-year run here in Omaha as coach of the Seminoles. That one is ripped into right field. It gets down. Thomas to third. And he will be there standing up. Back-to-back hits for Michigan to get it rolling tonight.
It's no secret what the Michigan Wolverines are. They're a really good fastball hitting team. We're seeing it right there. 2 fastballs, 2 líneas.
Third-round pick of the Astros and the Big Ten Player of the Year, Jordan Brewer. Last night they didn't score in the first. The first 4 games, they scored in all of them.
And they won all of them.
Right down the middle, strike 1. Here's the silencer last night. Kumar Rocker, what a show he put on. 11 strikeouts. Into the 7th inning he went. Michigan's made a living with 2 out hits and 2 strike hits. That one is another one into left field. Franklin was on the move. He'll put the brakes on. But 3 straight hits to start, and the Wolverines are up 1-0.
We've seen this before. 0-2 off Brewer. They try to elevate with a fastball. He can get on top of it. He's proved it here at the College World Series. High ball hitter. Uses that top hand well. Doesn't collapse on the backside and keeps the line drive in effect. Beautifully done by him. You cannot waste pitches against him up there at 90 miles per hour.
I tell you now, this is Michigan is getting to Hickman early with where Hickman wants to pitch. That pitch right there is where Hickman wanted to go. Elevated just up and out of the zone, and there's not a lot of guys that have covered that one this year. 3 straight barrel shots to start this one off of Michigan, all off a fastball.
That was the lefty, one of the relievers. They got a bunch of guys that are available tonight because Rocker handed it over to the closer last night. That was Jake Eder who ran out there, and this is Jimmy Kerr. As Eduardo talked about at the top, Kyle, this has been the star of this team. 3 runs on 4 hits in the Friday win. He had a bunt single and 2 homers.
$15 home runs on the year for Jimmy Kerr, who's got a job waiting at Goldman Sachs whenever his baseball career is over. The way he's gone these last few days, Jimmy Kerr's going to be playing this game a little bit longer.
That's a slow roller, but it's a foul off of his foot, so we'll keep him here.
Right here.
If you haven't seen the first couple of nights, Jimmy Kerr's grandfather and father both went to Michigan. His grandfather played on the '62 championship team. They've been here all night. There's another uncle they don't allow to come because apparently every time he watches they lose, at least in person. But Uncle John's been watching on television. Things have been going pretty well for him.
That's where Kumar was able to get him yesterday. Fastball a little bit different. Okay, a lot different. Away, he was swinging under it.
Father Derek saw him walking the streets this week. He's probably more pumped up than Jimmy is to be here watching his son. See if they come up with another 2-strike hit. He's quite a baseball story, Kerr. As Kyle mentioned, he got a job Wall Street, Goldman when he wants it, but he stayed in Ann Arbor over the summer and really bulked up, worked on his swing. He's become a power threat and the guy that is in line to be the outstanding player for them if they win. Chases that one and he's gone.
Those are the outs that Hickman's going to need, is on that pitch right there. Again, elevated just up and out of the zone. It's a fastball that we'll talk spin rate, spin efficiency. It's not a high spin rate. It's about a major league average spin rate, somewhere around 2,200, 2,250. It's the efficiency that is so good. It spins straight top to bottom and holds plane all the way through the plate.
Third baseman Blake Nelson, sophomore out of Washington. Hickman's last start, he gave up just a couple of singles. He's already given up 3 here in the first on a sunny but warm 87-degree night in Omaha.
See Franklin at second base. He's looking at the signs in his belt. Brewer had done it previously. On the last pitch, both of them at the same time did a fake steal. And it's because they understand the signs from the belt buckle area, what they're getting from Eric Bakich. I like it. Kaufman, every time he looks away, looks home. Hickman, every time he looks away, you see Franklin taking an extra secondary lead.
Nelson's been good last 3 games, 4 for 13. Got a team high 344 batting average against righties. 0-2.
Gotta get right back in the back.
Mason Hickman's come back and picked up 2 strikeouts in a row. So 3 straight singles to start it. Got him a 1-0 lead. Back-to-back strikeouts of Kerr and Nelson. That brings up Christian Bullock, left fielder, a junior, 5'10", 175, out of Chicago, Illinois.
You're going to see a lot more of that breaking pitch, too.
That one was up in the zone. Bullock watched it go in for a strike. One pitch away from stranding 2 and getting out of what appeared like it was on the way to being a big inning. Maybe giving up just 1. He has pumped in 9 straight strikes. Chases that one. Not a bad job for Mason Hickman. After he gave up 3 straight hits, the Vandy bench comes out to tell him job well done. Wolverines are 39-6 when they score first this season. We'll see if that holds tonight. What a run it's been for that guy, Tim Corbett. He has led Vanderbilt to all 4 of their College World Series appearances, 11, 14, 15, and now. Take a look at our Capital One batting order that he's putting out there, and for him, no injuries to deal with like Bakich does with Michigan.
There's so much focus on the top of the order, but Stephen Scott, 8 home runs in the last 19 games. You cannot go to sleep with him. Tonight is one of those nights that Stephen Scott looks forward to.
All right, so Carl Kaufman has been one of really 3 aces for Michigan this year, but he's called on for the 3rd time in his College World Series. Primarily fastball slider. You will see a few changeups. How far can he go was the question tonight. 3rd start here in Omaha. He's going on Major League rest, 4 days rest. He pitched last Friday.
Remember, this College World Series for Vanderbilt started with Austin Martin seeing the first pitch and hitting it over the wall. It was last Sunday. The day in which he hit 2. Right underneath the bat goes that one. Sophomore, 6 foot 175 out of Jacksonville. Just an incredible season for the sophomore. 105 hits, which was 3rd behind Jake Mangum, who had 108, and Joey Ortiz. Just underway, College World Series, winner-take-all, Game 3. Michigan scores in the top of the 1st. Strike 3 at the knees, and Martin has to go back to the dugout.
So you've seen already a difference with the way that Kaufman uses his fastball and the way that Hickman uses his fastball. Kaufman's has great arm side run, so it'll have some sink like it did right there to Austin Martin. But everything is going to move on that arm side unless he four-seams it, and you won't see him do that very much. He relies on that movement right there, throws Austin Martin for the 1st out of the night.
That's a great sign when you have a sinker baller in the 1st inning, being able to throw the ball down, and with that action, usually the 1st inning is a feel inning.
J.J. Bleday, center field. Franklin is under it, 1 pitch. The power hitter that led the nation in home runs. Hit his 27th here in Omaha. Is retired on a fly out to center. It's got to be a helper, Kyle, for a guy that's on 4 days rest. You know, major leagues, you do that. What's the challenge for a pitcher who's not used to doing that?
I tell you that the ones that it's easiest to do it are the sinker ballers.
Yep.
Because if those guys try to throw too hard, that's when the baseball straightens out, comes up in the zone. When you're loose and maybe a little bit tired is where that ball has more sink. You get more extension, and early returns on Kaufman. The fastball looks really good.
This is Ethan Paul. He's a senior. They have 5 in the senior class. A couple of redshirt juniors out of Bellevue, Washington. That one is down as well. Maybe you've heard the story of Donnie Everett, who would have been a senior with this class. He died tragically in a drowning accident while at Vanderbilt just before a regional started a couple of years back. They have dedicated so much of this season to Donnie and his memory. His folks are here. They've been very, very close with the program. Teddy and Susan. Good chance, because he was such a good pitcher, that he would already be in pro baseball and wouldn't be here for his senior year. But the team certainly thinks all the time about Donnie Everett.
You hear Tim Corbin talk about him, or his former teammates talk about him. It was just the type of kid that he was, how gregarious, how he made everybody laugh. Last pitch that Donnie Everett ever threw was at the SEC tournament. It was 101 miles an hour.
Yeah. That's ball 4 to Ethan Paul. And we'll have much more on Donnie Everett and his family and the relationship with this program. And I think the word Tim Corbin uses with regards to the players is it calloused them. It made them realize that oftentimes things like that present themselves at the time you least expect it to, and how you deal with it. But when he came back in the fall, he recognized the team wasn't ready to really play yet, and he looked at his wife Maggie and said, "I'm not sure I'm up for this anymore." I mean, it rocked them to the core, and it's understandable. It's Maggie Corbin right there in front of the Everetts, Tim's wife, daughter Molly. Here's Philip Clark with a man aboard. Cleanup hitter out of Franklin, Tennessee, a sophomore, 5'11", 190, and this one is put up in the air to left. Now we'll see if Bullock can see it. Now he seems to have picked it up, but he makes the catch in the sun. Carl Kaufman through the first. We head to the second. 1-0 Michigan. Been playing the College World Series at TD Ameritrade since 2011. Vanderbilt has been here a handful of times. They find themselves down 1-0. The College World Series this season, KP, has been outstanding, with all these games being decided by 3 or fewer runs, all but 1.
It's a little different look in the lineup today. Isaiah Page was the starting pitcher yesterday, listed as the DH in there because Eric Bakich and his staff not sure what they want to do in that 9 slot. The injury to Jordan Wogu yesterday switches up this lineup. So they'll decide just based on what the game tells them at that point. They know the 2 or 3 that will potentially go in there. If it's a bunt situation, maybe it's one name. If it's not, I'm sure it's another. But we'll find out who that DH is here in just a few hitters. And you see this at some college programs. Vanderbilt will do this from time to time.
They've kicked around Miles Lewis. They've kicked around Dominic Clemente. We saw him last night once Wogu got hurt.
And another name that's also kicked around is Riley Bertram.
Yep. During
the regionals, had a game that went 4 for 4. So they do have plenty of offense on that bench.
Jack Blomgren is the shortstop. He's a sophomore. Struggled a little bit in the field last night, which is aberrational. Michigan had been so good defensively. Last night, a couple of hiccups. That is Isaiah Page. He's got the helmet on. Maybe Bakich just said, just look the part and you go get the bat, because you're the guy that's going to hit.
I would bet it's not his number on the back of that helmet. I don't know the last time that Isaiah Page put a helmet on, but I like it.
Blomgren flies out to J.J. Bleday.
He sold it for as long as he could right there. Does he have batting gloves on? If you're going to do it, throw the batting gloves on. Like, let's go the whole way. Eye black, like put the shinny on, do the whole thing.
Not only that, look, there's no belt sign, so you know he wasn't going to hit.
Dead giveaway.
Yeah, the dead giveaway.
You get the chance to do that. I'm going wrist pads, shoulder pads, every pad you got. Eye black.
That felt good, though. I got to believe it felt good. This is the 8-hole hitter, Joe Donovan. He's the catcher. That's a good pitch. He's calling that low strike tonight. Makes it 2-1. No, Eddie, it looks like you may have won the lottery.
Eddie said 4 names.
Yeah, but he kind of brought up Riley Bertram.
Yeah,
we brought up the others.
You were thinking 4.
2-2. Another one popped straight up. Harrison Ray going out. Blade says, get out of my way, and he makes the play for the second out. So it won't be Isaiah Page, but before the game, when you're bringing your lineup card out, here's the conversation.
You got Page, is that right?
Yeah.
DH and the 9 slot.
Not really, but yeah.
Did you see Corbs? He's shaking his head. He's done the same thing this year. I've done a game where he's done the same thing.
You learned it from him.
Yeah, you're probably right. That was a great reaction, though. You got Page in the night. Well, yeah. Well, not really.
You know something I don't know? There's not a lot that these two guys don't know about each other. I heard Chris at the top. It was like an adoption when he brought him to Vanderbilt. He was just a youngster, like 24 years old, and he's going to be the guy charged with being the right-hand man building a program. Showed up with a trunk full of athletic training equipment because Bakich is an athletic trainer. He ended up training one of Corbin's daughters athletically, became a really good tennis player. I showed you Maggie Corbin. He and Tim kind of had to approve of like anybody that Bakich was dating. That's the Corbin clan right there. So Riley Bertram, the DH. Look out, that breaking ball way high, 2-1. Not a bad guy to stick in there as the DH. Wogu's outstanding, but when you're bringing somebody in that in 5 games in the tournament is hitting just about 500, sure. And he draws the walk. So this was a tough one to watch last night. Jordan Wogu, who was the leadoff hitter and one of the leaders of this team, just pulled up and fell right down at first base. And unfortunately, as he walked off, you could tell he could put no pressure on that left leg of his.
Yeah, those are painful. And once you have them, they stick around for a long time. Jordan Wogu's on base percentage just tells the story. They need him, his speed on the bases. Takes a lot of pitches.
Safe.
See if Bertram will get active on the bases for K.O. Thomas. Back to the top. He singled his first time up. Right away he goes. Throw from the knee. Short hop. Bertram has stolen a base.
No fear whatsoever. Bertram, first activity here in the College World Series, draws the walk, and with 2 outs, first pitch goes on the first move.
Ball never got in the glove of Harrison Ray. Bertram's first steal of the season. RBI opportunity now for Thomas.
Man, that's playing fearless. And you got to love that if you look at Michigan right now. Bertram, no stolen bases, and we're going to turn you loose here in the second inning. You haven't started a game yet in this College World Series. Get out there and run. draws a 2-out walk. Now he's standing at second base. A single makes it 2-0.
Thomas singled. He scored the only run of the game in the first. That one's outside, 2-1.
Go ahead, Eddie.
That's the importance of scoring first. He's scoring that first inning, and we've already known that they're 4-0 when they do score. Eric Bakich just loves to make the defense make plays, force them to make plays.
I think it's also a compliment to Eric Bakich and the way this club has played since they showed up. They have been loose from the first practice until this point, and they have not varied from the way they've played the entire season.
Good one there. A little cut to it, 2-2. Got him swinging. Fourth strikeout of the game for Hickman. Strands the man at second. Still 1-0. There's Kumar Rocker. He'll take the mound.
He's become the ace of this Vanderbilt staff.
See you later. Strikeout number 1. 2 strikeouts, 3 hitters. Maybe in for something special. Gone. Wow. That's a filthy pitch. I'd say he looks good. Blew it by him, and he liked that one. Strikeout number 11.
Sets a Vanderbilt record in the College World Series.
And in a game they had to win to keep their season alive, the legend of Kumar Rocker only grows tonight. All right, so full disclosure, there's Tracy Rocker, his wife Lou. Eduardo, you got a chance to spend some time with the Rockers post-game as Pat DeMarco leads off here. What'd you learn?
I got the okay, the green light to call him K-Rock. They like it. Dad likes it. He's been calling him that since he was around 10 years of age. So K-Rock, there he is.
So now you're part of the family.
Okay, we're all in. We're all in.
It has got to be a little bit more than that.
There is a lot more. I learned one, Mom is from India, and we always call him Kumar, and it's actually Kumar. And Kumar means prince in Hindi. So Kumar Rocker, disciplined very well by his father Tracy. Said he's my only child, but he is not spoiled. Not cutting any corners, and I'm telling you right now, the only corners that he has cut is with his fastball and that slider.
Yeah, Tracy was all-world when he played lineman at Auburn, won the Outlet and Lombardi Trophy. This one is hammered to left by DeMarco, and it is gone! Pat DeMarco with one swing has tied this game up.
We could see this coming yesterday. Barreled one on a line, and he's had some really good at-bats. A hanging slider. See the spin? He sees it perfectly. Great balance, stays right behind that baseball. No doubt about it as soon as he hit it.
7th of the season for the sophomore out of Staten Island, New York. Lou Rocker, and that's about what you get out of Tracy. He just sticks his paw up there and sees who hits it. Who wants a piece?
I'll tell you this, the baseball fan in that family is Mom and Lou.
Big home run for the kid that has twice been drafted by the New York Yankees. 100th home run of the year for the Commodores. That's another home run threat right here. This is Stephen Scott out of Cary, North Carolina, the senior. Red Sox drafted him in the 10th round of this year's draft. That one's away. One of 11 Vanderbilt baseball players to make the spring honor roll, Stephen Scott. GPA over 3. Got 11 baseball players for a school that had a whole bunch, but a big contribution from the baseball guys.
Get going, baby, get going.
Let's go, Scotty.
Chases a changeup that just stuck out of the zone, and Scott is retired first out of the inning.
You primarily see this against left-handers tonight from Kaufman. He'll go fastball slider to righties. This time the changeup. Enough movement to get off the bat as Steven Scott. Good velocity difference. Mid-80s right there, and you can see the extension. Fingers get all the way over the top of that one. Gives a good sink right when it gets to home plate.
Here's Harrison Ray, second baseman. Harrison Ray sort of doubled down a lot lately. He's a good guy to bunt, but when he gets the ball in the air, it goes to the gap. A handful of doubles on the season. He's got 18 of those.
Right-handed hitters have really struggled off Kaufman, and then we saw that home run off DeMarco. That was a 305 right-handed hitters. Kaufman is faced. He had only allowed one home run. That was the second all season, and it was off the slider. So we'll see a lot more fastballs, two-seamers in the zone, try to get him to beat it down on the ground. And that slider, I would doubt to see that for a strike late in counts.
0-2, and he chased it. Kaufman bounces back with back-to-back strikeouts after the home run. He's got 3 in the game.
That's where that slider has to be, out of the zone, get the chase with it.
That's when Kaufman's at his best against righties and lefties, when he can use that slider, start it in the zone, finish out. 2-strike pitch and a good bounce back right here from Kaufman. Home run to DeMarco, then he strikes out the next 2.
Here's Tommy Henry. He's got his glasses on there backwards. What an outstanding performance he put on, really through the entire World Series, hanging out with Jeff Criswell, a guy that likely, if Michigan is in the lead, or perhaps even if they're not, will throw some innings tonight. Right?
You will see Criswell tonight.
Got to use him. Ty Duvall's the designated hitter. He's ahead 1-0, and that's what Tim Corbin expects from this guy. Always in plus counts. Good eye there, 2-0. School record 13 Commodores were drafted in this year's Major League Baseball draft. 13. That one does catch a little bit of the strike zone, at least according to Perry Costello.
Before the game, I asked Eric Backage if there was a chance we'd see Tommy Henry. He said, I think if you asked Tommy himself, he'd say yes. If you'd ask pitching coach Chris Fetter, he'd probably prefer he didn't. Not really an answer.
I'm sure Henry would be like, sure, I'll give you an inning, 2, 10, whatever.
I would bet he's got his spikes on.
Kaufman is inching away. He got the last 2 pitches called strikes, and how about back-to-back-to-back strikeouts after Pat DeMarco got into one to left.
Pitch up in the zone, slider, DeMarco. Beautiful swing right through. Fellas, this game is a brand new game. 1-1 going to the top of the 3rd.
There you go, Sparks. Detroit Lion jersey. We got the Michigan hat. Oh,
Get it.
and burying a slice.
Yep. We don't need napkins. That's what arms are for.
And the pants. Yep, we'll just rub it right there. For more coverage of the College World Series and interactive brackets, go to NCAA.com. 1 day of rain. That was it. We have been really fortunate with the weather in Omaha for this edition of this College World Series. Started with Arkansas and Auburn, Florida State, Louisville, Mississippi State, Texas Tech, and now we're down to our last 2. And this one is into the seats.
Nice catch.
Who did we have up here earlier today? Was it Hasselbeck? He was in the booth.
Yeah.
So he flew up from Vanderbilt with a bunch of kids to watch this one. And the kid asked if we gotten a ball hit up into the booth yet. I mean, you get a chance to stand up here and look out, and you figure like, "Ooh, you guys must be fielding foul balls all the time." Haven't had one yet.
Nada.
But if we did, are we prepared for it?
Yes.
No.
So
I'm not.
I'm prepared.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh,
I have wheels in my chair, and I just move right
that's a good point.
out of here.
You're tethered. You can't go far. Be careful.
This place would just become a wreck if you pulled back real quickly. That's on the corner and a strikeout. Mason Hickman's got 5.
I'll tell you something. After the first 3 hitters of the game, Mason Hickman has looked outstanding. Struck out 3 after that. 1 punch out in the second. Then gets Franklin looking with that 4-seam fastball that just stays put. You're not going to see Hickman throw too many 2-seamers. He'll live with that 4-seamer. He's looking more for the elevation instead of the sink on it. And that one just froze Franklin.
This is Jordan Brewer, Big Ten Player of the Year. And maybe the most engaging personality on this Michigan team as he looks at ball 1. See that Native Indian tattoo he's got on his left arm. Best friend in high school died. His brother came to the College World Series, started yelling 22. He knew right away who it was. Trenton Smiley. He talks to his mom all the time. His dad, who coached him. Used to play football, and he's not afraid to acknowledge, man, if football worked out, he got hurt. That led him to baseball. He said, can you imagine, though, what if football did work out? I wouldn't have experienced all this. He plays with a joy that's probably unmatched. He's that guy that you walk into the room and he lights it up, and that one goes into the seats.
The hit he had 0-2 pitch up in the zone, 109.8 miles per hour off the bat. That's a velocity. It's there. The thunder is there. We've seen the lightning speed hands, and we've seen that left arm from right field in this College World Series.
He's gone too. Boy, Mason Hickman locked in, 6 strikeouts.
At Franklin looking on the fastball, then this time gets Brewer swinging right over the top of the breaking ball. Watch release. Middle finger goes right over the top of that ball. Good top to bottom spin. Moves a little bit away from Jordan Brewer. He can't hold up. So twice already today, Hickman has struck out 3 in a row.
Numbers tell everything. 0 for 8 with 6 Ks the last 9 he's faced. This is Jimmy Kerr. He kind of started the strikeout roll after the 3 straight hits in the first. Kerr struck out. Nelson struck out. Bullock struck out. This is popped up, playable. They have the shift on, so Paul's coming over, and he's calling for it, and the shortstop makes the play. Mason Hickman is rolling along after those first 3 hits. None.
The honoring of Donnie has to be done.
I always look at our guys and very much know it's living inside them. I think it's calloused them in a lot of different ways. I've always talked to them about playing with him more than anything.
He's always in our hearts and on our minds. We've played with him ever since that day.
Not always in life do you get what's right, but I just felt if any group needed to be here, it was that one.
Donnie, Tim Corbin honors Donnie Everett every time he walks in this ballpark. He touches the wall. That's the same spot back at Hawkins Field in Nashville where they have Donnie's number on the back wall. He's done it every day since he's been here in Omaha. When talking about him, he said that the parents have just had so much fun since they've been here in Omaha, sitting behind Maggie and getting to celebrate. There's his dad, and he just thinks about it every day. I think about an interview that we did the SEC tournament when they won. Corbin was in tears because there they have the number 101 back on the wall in Hoover for the 100 miles an hour fastball that he threw there. So you can tell it's something that's on their mind every day they come to the park.
Yeah, the Corbins went to Cape Cod last summer, and they invited the Everetts a couple of summers ago, not thinking that they would say yes. Of course, Tim and Maggie go up there to watch some of their Vanderbilt players, and the Everetts said, we'd like to go. It's time to get out of the house. It's time to, start appreciating what Donnie meant to this group and experience some more baseball, and they have been part of this. After their recent win, Teddy Everett went down to celebrate with Corbin, and he's a big dude. He almost pulled his arm out of his socket because there was so much joy in the win, and they do see a lot of Donnie, obviously, and the players here. that are playing. This would have been his senior year. He died back June 2, 2016. And from a baseball perspective, which is secondary to all this, Corbin did say he was the next great one. The pitcher's duel going there as Julian Infante is retired. That's the 4th consecutive strikeout for Carl Kaufman.
I guess any concern about how Carl Kaufman would come back on 4 days rest has probably been erased the first time through this lineup. He's given up 1 hit. It was on a hanging slider to DeMarco. He hit it in the seats, and that's why it's 1-1 right now. But besides that, Carl Kaufman's looked outstanding.
Austin Martin. A backdoor slider that comes in on the righties and stays there for strike 1. Won't get that one. Boys and girls, so 13 Vanderbilt players selected in the draft. Next year's draft, where do you think a guy like Martin will get selected?
Well, projected, MOB already has him projected in the top 3.
Top 3.
It's just such a rare skill set. We've seen the power come about more over the last few weeks. Martin comes in with 10 home runs this year. He has 18 stolen bases. His OPS is above 1,100. He walked more than he struck out this year, and he can play the infield or the outfield. There aren't too many that can do that.
1-2, and that one is pulled fair. Nice play over there by Nelson, and a scoop by Kerr. There you go. Blake Nelson and Jimmy Kerr retire Austin Martin, and that's a web gem.
One thing that Michigan does different than any other team in the College World Series, they play no doubles all the time. Third baseman in the corner.
Hey, got it, you got it.
And then the ability of being able to pick it at first base. Kerr with a good one. Try to stay away from the big inning. It's exactly what they do, and they get the speedster getting down that line.
That's a tough one for the first baseman, Kerr. That wasn't a short hop. And a big out. The plan against J.J. Bleday is to stay away, but yeah, guarding the line really helped there. What a scoop by Jimmy Kerr. Not going to help with the bat yet. Glove won't hurt.
And they all play the line, and they play the outfield deep. Right now, pull side, Kerr playing down the line. No doubles. You usually see this late in games at any level, but not Michigan.
You see normal depth in the outfield just where the grass is a little bit brown. Look how far behind that the Michigan outfielders are. That'll show you depth. I mean, when the grass starts to brown out 2 weeks in, that's because everybody's playing there. None of them are playing there. They're all a good 5 to 10 steps behind where you would see as normal outfielder depth here.
That's the baseline at Wimbledon, and then you're taking 10 steps further back. Well, you saw the game plan there. We're not going to let J.J. Bleday and his 27 home runs beat us as Kaufman stayed away, 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 and away.
To beat Michigan consistently, you have to be able to execute and play small ball at times. Be able to keep that line moving. And in today's game, that's a rarity.
Another one of those spring honor roll guys for psychology. Ethan Paul, the shortstop's come up with some big hits for this team. The senior out of Bellevue, Washington, walked his first time up. Big hack at it, foul it straight back. You mentioned the idea that Martin maybe can play different positions. Possible with Paul graduating, he goes to shortstop next year?
Absolutely. Very possible. It reminds you a little bit of Casey Martin at Arkansas, to where it's just elite athletic ability, Does he look like a shortstop? Not every time when he fields it, but the athleticism of both can make up for maybe pure technique. Then you give him more reps and see whether or not that's a position he can stick at when he gets to the next level. He's going to hit. He's going to run. The arm plays anywhere.
Ooh, hammered up the middle. Check the exit velocity on that one as Boudet pulls into second, but Ethan Paul hit that hard right by Kaufman.
Short stroke. Quick actions by Kaufman, getting out of the way.
Danger in walking Boudet, and that was, for all intents and purposes, an intentional walk. You deal with Paul and now a Philip Clark cleanup hitter who has driven in 69 with 9 home runs.
I think this guy's going to catch in the big leagues. When you watch Clark's movements, he's just a sophomore. Left-handed hitter, he's flashed a little bit of power. You would expect that power number continues to go up, but this is somebody I think's got a chance to play this game for a long time.
That's a good job by Joe Donovan behind the plate. He last night had some issues. Had some wild pitches, pass balls get by him, which allowed the Vanderbilt runners to advance and ultimately score. Throw down to first, and getting back is Paul.
He had a couple balls get by him yesterday. Drops to a knee a little bit late there. You want him to drop both knees down. One of the things he's been working on, and it's very tough right now with the shadows, not just for the hitters but the catcher as well.
2 men on, 2-0 the count. Dangerous spot, Philip Clark. And this one is into the Vanderbilt dugout. Kumar Rocker nearly had a chance to make a play. Hard to emphasize how imposing he is in person and how impressive he was on the mound last night. We're so close to it, but people who watched at home, I heard from so many say, wow.
His run over really the last 11 starts, but definitely through this NCAA tournament, is such a major reason why Vanderbilt's got a chance to play for the whole thing tonight.
Kaufman behind 3-1. Coach Tim Corbin, Chris Budden will talk to him after this half. Ball 4, and now they are loaded with Commodores. And Mr. Home Run himself, Pat DeMarco, is coming to the plate.
Well, they got a slider that didn't really slide. Watch it stay on the inside part of the plate, right into that swing path of Pat DeMarco, and home run number 7 on the year for DeMarco. It's the only run that Vanderbilt has so far. Hawkins Field, looks like a home game for Vanderbilt in Nashville right there. They're lawn chairs out, shoes off. They like that one.
No shirt, no shoes. That's how they do it in Nashville. So the pitching coach, Chris Fetter, has gone out there. Jeff Criswell starting to jog down to that bullpen. Perfect world. How many innings or when do you bring him in? Obviously, you got to lead if you can, but when do you pull the trigger on Criswell?
You could go 6-3. I think you dial that in pretty good if you're Michigan. I think for both of these sides, you came into this saying we want to use 2 arms. For Michigan, it's Kaufman and Criswell. For Vanderbilt, it's Hickman and Tyler Brown. If you have to go deeper than that, it's not the strength of either one of these teams.
Well, a huge spot here early in this one. Bottom three tied 1-1, and the bases are loaded. Blade is at third. Ethan Paul is down there at second. Philip Clark is at first for DeMarco, who's already homered.
All right, let's go.
Got a pitch to hit, and that one fouled off and hit Joe Donovan, so he goes down in a heap of pain.
This one's going to take a few minutes. Pretty self-explanatory.
Corner pocket.
Little pat on the chest protector from Eric Backage and a smirk, and off he goes.
The only guy that really you need to see smiling is Donovan.
Yep.
And we did.
He had one on there.
He did.
We're all right.
And he's still smiling.
I don't know if it's a smile or a grimace.
DeMarco's roommate is the guy that's pitching tonight for Vanderbilt, Mason Hickman. Think he'd like to help his roomie out here?
Any base hit to left field. Ethan Paul's at second base. He will be sent. Bullock playing very deep and left.
Really good numbers with the bases loaded. 4 for 9 for DeMarco.
That was a mistake.
Close.
That was a mistake right there. That's that slider that stayed up. Same one pretty much that DeMarco was able to hit out his last at bat.
I'd go back to it.
Up there? Or
No,
down and away? Okay,
I don't want to go back to it there, but no, yes, I would go back to the hanger.
Really
No,
fooled him.
I think this time we'll try to bury it, but I would go back to the same pitch. It's Kaufman's best when he goes right on right. If he buries it down and away, I think it'll be hard for DeMarco to lay off it.
But the last one works so well. Sure. Oh, was that close, and no call made. Half the Michigan team started running off the field.
I thought it was down. It's a good spot, but I thought it was down.
Now 3-2. Nowhere to put him because Blade occupies third. Ethan Paul standing on second base. And Philip Clark leading off first.
Go back to that two-seam fastball. Last two sliders he's thrown have stayed up.
DeMarco's been a dead pull hitter all year. Ball 4. Vanderbilt takes a 2-1 lead. How close was that pitch that was called a ball? The inning would have been over. But instead a walk. Back-to-back walks, 3 in the inning.
And all this happening with 2 outs, nobody on. Yesterday, Vandy scored 2 on wild pitches.
Got to be careful of a slider in on a lefty like Scott. We saw him pound one earlier in this World Series for a homer. He's got 14 big flies this year. That one is ripped up the middle and through. Ethan Paul scores. Philip Clark waved in. And Scott delivers a 2 RBI single. Vanderbilt 4, Michigan 1.
Got time.
Two walk to DeMarco. Scott was not waiting around. He knew he was going to get a fastball. Fastball was up. Hit it right where it came from. Up the middle. Driving in two. Scott with another big hit in this College World Series.
The Everetts enjoying every minute of it. Teddy and Susan. Steven Scott has been a clutch hitter for them here in Omaha. And now you got Harrison Ray with runners at first and third. In the dirt, right, nearly squeaked through Donovan's legs to the backstop, but it stayed there as Criswell continues to heat up.
Yeah, he's not just playing catch now. Now Criswell's starting to throw to get ready, because if you go to anybody, that's who you're going to. And then you just see when he gets in the game how long Criswell can go.
Any indication, again, on 4 days rest, now 59 pitches, that he's getting tired?
Fastball command is usually the first thing that goes. And when you look at this inning, strikeout to start it. Martin hits the ball right on the button that Nelson makes a great play on. Then walk, single, walk, single. Fastball location and that late movement hasn't been there.
First 2 innings, he threw 29 pitches. In this inning, he's already thrown 30.
Backich right now has to be thinking, do I go get him right now 2-0? Is he warm enough? I don't think he is. He has to finish Ray off here.
Three runs across here in the bottom of the third for the Commodores, the national champs in 2014. DeMarco and Scott, the base runners for Vandy. They've got all their scoring with 2 singles. Sandwiched around 3 walks. Ray shallow and backing up, and now kidding underneath it is the shortstop, Jack Blumgren. Big inning for the Commodores. Anchored down on Steven Scott's 2-out RBIs.
Well balanced as we look at the 4D replay. Head behind that baseball, you see the bat through. Right back up the middle. Steven Scott again with a big hit for the Commodores.
Tim Corbin joining me, and Mason Hickman goes back out there. What adjustments did you see from him after the first couple batters?
I think he just settled down. I just think the first inning there were probably some jitters a little bit. You could tell he was kind of not throwing through his breaking ball and fastball, but now that he's got into this game a little bit, I see more command.
When you spoke to the team pregame, what was your sense of the nerves and the heartbeat of this team?
I think it was fine. I mean, it's kind of what we've talked about all along, Chris. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to what they do on a daily basis, so I think even with this game and kind of the meaning of it, I think they just kept it simple and real.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Chris.
That's Tim Corbin. What a job he has done at Vanderbilt, building this thing into a perennial power. And it seems like it's going to continue to get better. You get Rocker for 3 years. That one's in there for a strike. Hickman has really settled in, but the recruiting classes are always top 2, top 5 in the country.
You get Hickman back, you get Tyler Brown back, Austin Martin back, Philip Clark back, DeMarco back. I bet they're decent next year again.
Mason Hickman, my goodness.
Better than decent here. Tim Corbin got to Vanderbilt. There was not a lot of baseball history. In fact, there was essentially none. They had been to the NCAA tournament 3 times. They had never been here. Now they're in the NCAA tournament every year. They've been here 4 times. They've already won the whole thing. 3 of the 4 times they've been to Omaha, they have played for the championship. The only time they didn't win it was when Virginia got it. He's turned it into one of the elite programs in the country. By any measure, by any way you want to look at it, Vanderbilt is one of the top 5 programs in the nation.
There's a Duke basketball feel to it with the guys that they keep parading through the doors that ultimately commit. And he goes back to the David Price acceptance and commitment to go to Vanderbilt as the turning point for the program. When Price said yes and Vanderbilt said yes to Price, he looks at that as the day that everything turned for the Vanderbilt program. As much as Bakich and he worked on it, and Maggie was sending out letters, when David Price came, look who followed and look what happened.
And we saw Kumar Rocker, which the parents said he is going to Vandy. Gets drafted late. Same thing happened with Al Leiter's son.
Jack Leiter will be a freshman next year. Went back to all the major league teams and said we're going to school. And grab your point, Price kind of started that.
Yep.
Okay. It's these guys that you would expect to sign out of high school. They don't. They show up at college, and a few years later, they're Carson Fulmer. They're Walker Buehler.
Sure.
They're Sonny Gray.
They're Donnie Everett.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys, too. Said, I'm going to Vanderbilt. There's a walk to Bullock. 441 career strikeouts was his record.
That's in 3 years, by the way.
And Dansby Swanson, the 2 guys that were selected, 1 overall. And, of course, a Cy Young winner. And as we discussed earlier today, a $217 million contract, which he has given several of those $217 million back to help build that Vanderbilt program.
Now he's got his own locker. He's professional locker room now. See? He knew what he was doing. He wanted a locker.
Well, you go around to different college baseball stadiums and facilities, and you realize, A, they're like Taj Mahals, but a lot of them now do that. They have these lockers for their guys that have gone on to the major leagues. It serves a variety of purposes. 1, you get the players to come back. 2, you get the kids that are in the program to see the names and the lockers of those guys that went on to the major leagues. Maybe that can happen to me.
And 3, the recruits. They come in and they see those big leaguers there in the program that helped them develop them. Has to be impressive to any 16 and 17-year-old.
Runner goes. Blumgren sends this one into center field. It gets down. It nearly got by DeMarco, but a little hit and run for Blumgren and Bullock, and all of a sudden Michigan with 1 down has 2 on.
Right now, this is who they are. And down 3 runs, Eric Bakich is saying we're going to be who we are. And if this one is a line drive double play, I'll take my chances. Instead, Blomgren stays on it, drives it out to center field. DeMarco just about turned this into an inside to Parker because he almost overran it. Instead, Michigan goes 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
See, the last team to overcome 3-run deficit in the championship game was the 2000 Tigers of LSU. They came back to beat Stanford. Here's a guy with some pop in his bat, Joe Donovan. Even though he bats 8th, he's got 9 homers. That one inside. Amazing how the walk to Bullock, how things start to spin a little bit.
And Michigan's been here before. They've done this in the regional. They came back being down around this time in the game, 4th, 5th inning. They allowed a few runs. Came back in the top half and scored a crooked number.
This week we've seen Juwan Howard in the house. We saw last night Jerry Stackhouse in the house. Two new coaches at both Michigan for Howard and Stackhouse for Vanderbilt.
It's great to see Carol Hutchinson down the other day too.
Yeah.
All-time winningest softball coach at Michigan. First time that she had been, well, she actually came twice. She came to the opening round and then later on. What do you got, Eddie?
Left center field, big gap right now. DeMarco playing opposite field.
2-1.
Playing at least 8 steps towards right field, even on the bag side.
Good speed on the bases in both Bullock and Blumgren.
So far, every throw to first base, Hickman is at max effort.
Donovan right of the shortstop. They throw back to first. Safe! Not in time. Heads up play by Paul. Good base running too by Blumgren to get back on that liner. Donovan a little frustrated. You can see he rips that helmet off, get all that hair up there working. That was not something that Eric Bakich was in favor of when he first took over, but he made a deal with the players. You could see the growth in Bakich to realize I gotta kind of get a feel for the room here, and they wanted to be able to have longer hair or facial hair. He made a deal with them. You get a team GPA of 3.0, we'll let you grow it out, and they've accomplished that. Donovan, who never cut his hair in high school, has let it flop again. Two-way street, coach, player. Got to have the lines of communication open.
To also understand what the personality of your club is.
Yep.
And you can't take the hands off the reins the whole time, but guys are comfortable. They usually play better. Tim Corbin has done that this year when he talks about his club. And at one point he said, well, I think they're having fun.
Right.
I mean, they don't celebrate a lot. You're not going to see a bunch of chatter. They just win.
Riley Bertram playing for the first time as Wogu was hurt last night, so he's the DH in the 9 spot. First and third in there for a strike.
Bertram not intimidated by this situation at all. First time he had a start in the regionals, went 4 for 4 against Creighton.
There's Jordan Wogu. Well, Michigan and their fans would love to see Bertram deliver that type of magic one more time. 3-1. K.U. Thomas, top of the order, up next. That has been one big part of the story for Michigan. 2 strike hits and 2 out hits. Half their runs have come with 2 down. And the impact of base runners on pitchers, in particular Hickman in this inning, you can really feel it. Three-one, runner goes, that's outside, and they are loaded. Feels like a big inning for Hickman here after you just got 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Love to make sure the other team doesn't get any, and that'll bring out the pitching coach for Vanderbilt, Scott Brown. And Vanderbilt has said, you know what, we may have to get some action going in the bullpen, so number 21, Tyler Brown, starts to jog down there.
We knew at some point tonight, unless one or the other pitcher goes complete game, you're going to see Criswell, you're going to see Tyler Brown. It's just when. And the ideal is you only use 2 arms. Go to your closer as late as you possibly can. Not sure if either is going to have that opportunity. Pitch count starting to get up there for Hickman now. 73. He's not all the way through the 4th.
You can see why there's such a high level of faith in Tyler Brown. And 7 2/3, no runs, 4 hits. Everybody else that's got a number on and pitches out of that bullpen has gotten hit. Big spot in the game here with the bases loaded after grabbing a 4-1 lead for a K.O. Thomas. Ball number 1.
Clark's been so good back there behind the plate. Breaking balls, he just puts that chest out in front, angles it towards the ground.
Bullets at 3rd, Blumgren at 2nd. Bertram after the walk at 1st. Jake Eder, the lefty, starting to warm in that Vanderbilt bullpen as well. This one into left. And on a line, it's caught by Steven Scott. They will strand 3. Thomas squared it up, but they get nothing. And Vanderbilt, heading to the bottom of the 4th, leads by 3, 4-1. Concourse has been full as we wrap up the 2019 College World Series with a winner-take-all game 3. Vanderbilt in Michigan, 4-1 here at TD Ameritrade. Ty Duvall, Julian Infante, 8-9-1 due up for the Commodores. Kaufman continues to throw here. Criswell continues to throw in the bullpen. Only in the bottom of the 4th. Plenty of time left. That got a piece of it, and it's 1-1.
So we saw this earlier in this tournament with Jeff Criswell, and I think one of the challenges, and Eddie, we talked about it, you don't have a bullpen coach at this level. And Jeff Criswell just hasn't been in the bullpen long enough to really understand how to get ready to go in. And then when to sit down and know if you're 8 pitches away, that's ideal. He throws a lot down there, and it's max effort a lot. And the reality is he's been ready for an inning, essentially, at this point. Some of it's just nerves. Like you get down there, you're excited, you're not used to the environment. Problem is it costs you bullets when you get in the game.
Now would a coach, a pitching coach, tell him, hey, when you go down there, here's what I want you to do. Throw 10, then stop.
Probably, but one of the challenges is Chris Fetter's the pitching coach. He's watching Kaufman. You know, I mean, you can't watch them both. He's watching this guy in the game. Now, do you say it before he goes down there?
Yeah,
sure.
That's what I mean.
But my point to a bullpen coach is they're watching him when he gets down there. And that's when you can go, hey, man, let's take a little walk.
I got 2 and 2.
Get yourself a drink of water. But remember the feeling. I mean, the first time you go in the bullpen, you don't know how to do it.
Two to Duvall. That one sails outside, 3-2, and you can see a little frustration from Kaufman.
During the top half of the 4th inning, Criswell was out there still throwing on that bump, and I think he's just 1 hitter away from getting on base. Eric Bakich called upon Criswell.
That's another walk to lead it off, and it may very well be time to have Carl Kaufman, who's throwing on 4 days rest, to go get him. But Bakich, at least right now, is standing pat. Criswell like a caged lion out there. It's like, I am good. I'm going to now sit. And now he's starting to move. So
yeah, if he starts walking down those stairs, he's coming in again. Yeah. Criswell knew that if there was a base runner, he was in. Slow walk out for Eric Bakich, and that'll be it for Carl Kaufman.
Five walks ties a career high for Kaufman. And that'll bring Criswell in, who has started 17 games. Wasn't until June 15th here against Texas Tech and the June 7th game against UCLA that he started to pitch out of the bullpen. Likely the last effort for Kaufman on a mound wearing a Michigan uniform as we welcome Criswell to the game. 4-1 Vandy. Back here at TD Ameritrade. Carl Ravitch, Eduardo Perez, Kyle Peterson, Chris Budden. Vanderbilt trying to win their second and first since 2014. Got themselves a 3-run lead. The race to the bullpen, well, it's been won by Vanderbilt because Michigan has gone to the reliever. Carl Kaufman, 69 pitches. Shortest start of the season for the junior out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Brother Rice High School. So he gives way to Criswell, who has thrown a variety of games into the 7th inning. There's a lot of mileage on that arm, but it's certainly not out of the question to think he could finish this game.
He could theoretically finish it. He was a starter for most of the season. As Michigan went into the postseason, Eric Bakich said, I want my 3 guys to throw as much as we possibly can. Tommy Henry, Carl Kaufman, and this guy. Stuff's a little different now. It can be mid-90s on the fastball. It's a very good slider. The only downside to the stuff for Criswell is every once in a while the walk number is high.
Well, they can't afford that. Down by 3 with Brown in the bullpen for Vanderbilt and Hickman pitching a fairly good game. You'll see some high velocity from Criswell, 94 miles an hour there. To Julian Infante out of Miami, Florida, the senior. Everyone that you talk to around this program, when they talk about Infante, they're like, nicest guy, greatest teammate ever. Protector, because he's been there for so long, he has seen so much. Late on that one at 94. Born in Miami to both parents who were Cuban. And he worked with Raul Ibanez, our former Baseball Tonight buddy, on his swing.
Well, he went to Westminster Christian, and Raul's son goes there now to Westminster Christian. Coaches in that program also.
Infante has had such a roller coaster season. His sophomore year batted .315. Last year was down, so he decided to take the summer off. He didn't pick up a bat the entire summer, guys. Instead, he started opening a new company with his friends. It's a drone company that power washes windows, so it takes the human safety element out of it, and then finally picked up a bat again late August.
So I got to get my head around that. So you get drones buzzing around the outside of the house, and yet I assume are they spraying water on the house, and then how are they drying it? How's the drone drying the windows?
Why are you looking at me? I didn't invent it. Ask Infante.
It's meant for high-rise buildings, so that, you know, you got skyscrapers that are 18 floors. Someone's not out there on those, you know, tables and rigs and doing it themselves. Scaffolding, that would be the word.
We're there. Maybe just let it air dry. just
Last time I heard air dry. Last time I heard air dry was Jerry Maguire. And that's what the slider can do to a right-handed hitter. You're looking at high velocity, 93, 94 miles per hour up in the zone, and then you get that slider, late break. Julian Infante. No chance on that pitch, as that ball was actually flying.
Here's Austin Martin, leadoff hitter.
No pitch.
I like the way Julian, I like this right here from Austin Martin. He asked for time, but never took his hands off the bat. Hands or eyes off Criswell.
They did it a few times to Rocker last night. You both said throw the pitch, which is what Criswell just did. That's in there for a strike. Martin's one of those, it feels like a lot of these kids say it, and I assume they mean it, but he's one of the Beer Vanderbilt players since he was about 13 or 14. And J.J. Bleday has, according to Martin, taught him more about focusing on baseball and locking in on baseball, not letting your head drift when you get in between the lines than anybody else. And of course, Bleday hits right behind him. That one misses, but it's amazing how emulating a player and watching and observing is something that happens in baseball probably as much, if not more, than any other sport. Especially the way they act. You hear that at the major league level about veterans. Just see how they go about their business. Today's been that guy for Austin Martin. Rocker was in a similar situation last night. Remember, there's about a 32-minute break between pitches. With a pitching change here and only one down. Hickman's been at rest for a while.
You can see from Criswell why he's got a chance to be a first-round pick next year too. This is elite stuff. It's mid-90s. It's a very good slider. Does have a changeup, but he's primarily those two. Just a sophomore, so he'll be back in Ann Arbor next year.
Didn't chase that. By the way, being in Ann Arbor, from a baseball perspective, that's, you know, it's not the Southeast Conference. It's not California. It gets cold in Ann Arbor, and these guys all have stories about the cold weather, and they practice outside. They got an AstroTurf field there, so when it snows, which it does, they'll bring a mini snowplow in there, clear it off, and they'll be out there. That one was dropped. Boy, that one was fairly close to a K-zone strike. Hope that Donovan dropping it didn't impact that call. It's down near the knees, but we've seen a few of those called for strikes.
Watch where it hits on his mitt, though. He would have had that elbow a little bit higher and would have caught it in the pocket. Perry Costello could have made a different call.
Well, here's big J.J. Bleday. Panama City Beach, Florida. Miami Marlins and Derek Jeter. Jeter and Posada went to see him in the SEC tournament. You got Jeter and Posada in the crowd. What'd J.J. do that day?
5 knocks.
5 for 5. Thank you. We'll take him.
Maybe that's why Derek Jeter's not here. Avid Michigan fan.
Kind of thinking if Jeter were here, probably wouldn't let anyone know he's here. You just observe. Fly in, fly out.
It's a good pitch. As a hitter, you take a deep breath when you're like, woof, fastball. Inside corner, okay. Called it a ball, thank you. Now it's 1-1. Big difference, 1-1 than it would have been 0-2.
Michigan wants a ground ball. Get a double play. We'll change up. Donovan getting beaten up again back behind plate.
That one looked like it got him on the wrist.
Oh, he's feeling that one. Oh. Upper forearm. Not rubbing it, though.
How do you not have admiration for the catchers? They just get hammered every night, and then you got to come back the next night and put them on again.
And they wouldn't want it any other way.
The velocity's not the problem for Criswell. 95 on that pitch. How about the ascension of J.J. Bleday to the nation's top home run hitter for a guy that was hitting single-digit homers? Then he went to the Cape in the summer. Launch angle, bulked up.
Health, too. He battled a few injuries last year during the regular season, hit just 4 home runs. Went off in the Cape, shot up the prospect list, and led the country in home runs this year.
1-2, that's up the middle. That's good for a hit. Duvall being waved in by Corbin. That ball really slowed down once it got to Franklin, and J.J. Bleday delivers the 5th run for Vanderbilt.
We said it earlier, even with runners in scoring position, Michigan will play deep. Duvall's at second base. He freezes right here. See him stop. But because Franklin is so deep, he has enough time to score easily from second base. A changeup. Bleday choked up on the bat, hits it off the end of the bat. Not a lot of spin, not a lot of velocity coming off that bat. Perfectly placed. Vanderbilt adds on to their lead.
That's pretty good to stay on that changeup. I mean, he was, excuse me, dialed up for 95 away, and he got a changeup, which was not a bad pitch. Stayed on it, kept the barrel in the zone long enough to shoot it out to center field.
So first and third, Bleday delivers an RBI, and it's 5-1. Vanderbilt piling on here. Still only 1 out in the 4th. This one to left. Bullock in the sun there to make the play. Tagging and scoring is Martin. 6-1 Vanderbilt.
50% of their runs Vanderbilt have scored tonight have been credited to the walk. Free bases, free passes. They're taking advantage of it right now.
So Carl Kaufman taken out of this game. Jeff Criswell comes in. And for the 2nd consecutive inning, a crooked number for Vanderbilt. Everything is going the way that the Commodores would like. Looking for their 2nd College World Series championship. Philip Clark walked and scored in the 3rd. This one shallow, and it's going to get down. And again, playing deep is Franklin. Bleday held at 3rd. A lot of times you see these outfielders playing a little shallower than we are with Michigan, especially early on at TD Ameritrade. That would have been a flyout. That was another one off the end of the bat. Died in front of Franklin. I got the sense that Jesse thought perhaps this one was hit a little better than it was. But this isn't going well for Michigan. You bring Criswell in, and he's giving up some walks and hits, and that'll bring Fetters out. This is supposed to be a loose team. How do you stay loose when you're down 5-1 in an elimination World Series title game? It's a challenge.
Yeah, look up at the board. No, you got enough outs left. I think that's the biggest thing. But this is. It's a position that Michigan has not been in very often in the postseason. It's as simple as getting out of this one and then hopefully getting the leadoff man on and see if they can continue to play their style, which they have. Even behind today, when they get guys on, you see guys in motion. Eric Bakich has continued to play the sped up pace that he likes to play. But yeah, it's a little bit different when you're down 5 in the 4th.
Yeah.
Guys, this is the Vandy team that everyone expected to see here in the College World Series. Their offense is relentless, and they've seen a lot of video.
Pat DeMarco homered and walked. Look out. Tug that one to fall behind 1-0. Yeah, the formula, though, of Kaufman to Criswell, and you're down 6-1 against a team that was right in the top 5 basically all year. There's Tommy Henry. You'll see him at the next level, the major leagues. Crafty lefty's been outstanding here in Omaha. Out. 1-2.
That's pretty straightforward. Their pitching had been so good in the first 5 games, giving up 12 earned runs. Tonight, 6. The other thing for Michigan pitching tonight, 5 walks on the night, 4 have scored.
Right field, Brewer just short of the track. He's there to make the play, but 2 more come in for the Commodores. Hickman back to the bump. Vanderbilt leading Michigan in the championship game. Nashville, Tennessee, the SEC basketball championship there. City of Cranes, man, they have developed and continue to develop. Beautiful city with, of course, Broadway, where they had the NFL draft. TV made it look like there were 11 billion people on the streets that night in Nashville. Not a long trip to Omaha, and one that they are getting used to making. Those that didn't enjoy the game at Hawkins Field, home field of the Commodores, and a very passionate and informed fan base. They love their baseball there, and they're feeling pretty good about things as we head to the 5th inning, leading 6-1. Jesse Franklin hacks that thing foul. Now Michigan was down to their final out in the Big Ten tournament. It was against Illinois. Big Ten tournament, Kenny Chesney was playing there. Michigan is not necessarily this team by their own admission, like real country music fans, but they knew they were down and out a little bit. Chesney was playing in Lincoln, so they all went from the Big Ten tournament to see Chesney the night before that Illinois game. And they had cowboy hats on, and it was kind of silliness, college stuff. We don't really know what he's all about, but we're in on it. And then before the Illinois final at bat in the stadium, Chesney's songs play. They end up rallying and winning. And a lot of them now look at that guy as the savior of the team. So I think the key here is either Chesney flies in,
Get a little in between,
or they pipe in some music.
Between innings, get a little Kenny Chesney coming in. You may just see the Wolverines come back. The one thing that's stopping them right now is Mason Hickman.
Yes.
Because after back-to-back singles to start this ball game, he's been locked in.
Guys, every week Eric Backage has someone famous come talk to the team or send in videos. And a couple days ago, we got Kenny Chesney to send a video to the team. So how does that happen? Well, it's really a random 6 degrees of separation. His wife Jiffy had a bridesmaid whose husband is a songwriter and knew Kenny Chesney and got him to send over a video. I'm telling you, it is the anthem. They're walking off the bus today, and Tommy Henry with a boombox is walking off the bus blaring Kenny Chesney.
Yes, as he should.
As everyone should.
As he should.
Everyone should have a boombox.
I think most of us did, like back in the 70s and 80s, no?
Still could.
Well, you definitely could.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Throw
so
it over your shoulder, walk down the street.
Let's just go with, if you had somebody that was going to motivate you on social or through a video, who would you be motivated by? Who would the message come from? Because Backage has had Tom Brady, the GOAT, another strikeout. He's had Chesney. He's had a lot of alumni. They had Kerr's grandfather in there, who was part of that championship team. Like, who's going to motivate KP?
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett is the elixir.
Yeah.
Really?
I get to pick. Don't look at me like that. You can pick whoever you want. For me, it's Jimmy Buffett. It makes me happy.
Margaritaville, like just kind of chilling out?
All the above, man. You just push go.
Kerr, left field. This one's going deep. Steven Scott going back right at the wall. He leaps and makes the catch.
Jimmy Buffett. Got it. Well, everything's going well. Mouth open. There he is, going back.
Yes.
Makes the play.
New song by Buffett. Mouth open.
Buffett.
Dropping soon.
Eric Bakich joining me now. Criswell goes back out there. What do you need to get from him tonight?
Well, just got to minimize the free passes. They've, done a really good job of taking advantage of 6 walks through 4 innings and, really led to some scoring opportunities for them. They've done a good job. 3 2-out RBIs in the 3rd inning, and then, some more, just taking advantage of our mistakes. So we got to let the defense work.
How do you get some offense rolling as well?
Well, the thing with Hickman, he's got great vertical rise to his fastball. It's, the TrackMan data, it's as good as we've seen all year. So we really got to hit the top of the baseball, and guys are just chasing up in the zone. Their barrels are underneath the ball with outs in the air. And, with the good depth curveball, that it really complements that high spin fastball. So just got to get on top of the ball, just try to hit line drives and put pressure on them. And, we had good chance to score, not last inning, the inning before, hit a couple balls hard, and they didn't fall. But that's what we're going to need to do, get guys on base and try to get some runs.
Throughout this week, you've had people come talk to your team. What was the pregame message to your guys before?
Oh, just about, the opportunity to play another game together. Our last game as Team 153, and, to do the things that we do well the best. So just be loose, have our best toughness, compete as best we can, and just be aggressive. And, when we get on base, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to try to make things happen. We're going to scratch and claw our way back into this one, but we're going to need to chip away at this deficit.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, thanks.
Through the week, all those interviews, you can see why you'd want to go play for Eric Bakich.
Yeah.
Gets it.
And you can also see a lot of similarities between he and Tim Corbin.
No doubt.
A lot.
Scott chases that. Big first out for Criswell. If they're going to start chipping away, you got to prevent the base runners, and there's a strikeout. So Jimmy Buffett for Kyle. Who do you got? Who's your?
I'm baffled with it. I go Daddy Yankee. I need some beat. I need some beat. I need to get going right there. You go. You have no idea who he is.
I don't.
Made a big baseball tonight appearance.
Softball game. Yes. He will be there.
Yes.
I didn't get invited. I'll watch.
He'll be there.
Okay. Tell him hi.
Remember Gasolina, the song? No? Rompe, rompe, rompe.
Oh, now I do.
Now you do, right?
Not a bit.
There we go.
No.
So Daddy Yankee,
Daddy Yankee,
and Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two would sell a place out together. I can tell you that.
For sure. We should, these people here in Omaha. Let's see if we can get the CHI Health Center over there to do a double drop of Buffett and DY, Daddy Yankee.
We can produce it.
Harrison Ray to third. Blake Nelson, 2 down. All right, let's look at the Capital One Cup standings. We'll update them as teams compete for a combined $400,000 scholarship donation from Capital One. Winning team of the CWS gets 60 points for their school in the standings. So Vanderbilt's got a chance to help out on the men's side, as does Michigan. Right now it's Virginia and Stanford leading the way. You can go to CapitalOneCup.com for more information.
Carl, who makes you happy?
Well, I mean, you've heard.
I think I know.
You've heard the playlist. It's
Zach Brown and then Zach Brown.
And Chesney.
Okay, good.
I mean, I'm there. Casey Musgraves, we mentioned that earlier. That got a lot of traction on social.
That's what we're here for.
Right. Yeah, a kid from the Northeast. It's country's more cross-cultural now. It cuts across. It's not just for the South. It's countrywide.
Ravi, I think you should send your playlist over to Tim Corbin, because when he's rolling off the bus, he's got the headphones in. I asked him today, he let me ride along with them, and I said, what's on the playlist? All country.
I know. I wonder who the artists are that he likes.
He
Maybe
wouldn't go specifics.
Could be Eric Church.
Yeah, Private, there's too many artists in Nashville to be able to name just one.
You know who I bet's on there? Jimmy Buffett.
I'm guilty. I have a few Buffett songs.
Guilty?
Been a parrot head.
Oh, you're fortunate.
Fortunate. Whew.
Makes you happy.
It's important to keep KP happy. When he's happy, everyone's happy. Two down, 2-2. Ty Duvall. See you later. Good inning for Criswell, nothing across. See if Michigan can start chipping away with Nelson, Christian Pollock, and Blumgren when we return. Here in Omaha, kind of one-sided so far. We got Vanderbilt with 6 and Michigan with 1. We start at the top of the 6th. Wolverines going to try to start chipping away at Hickman. Got Jake Eder out there, and of course Tyler Brown not far. And there's only apparently one key to the city. There's not more than one.
Yeah, let's give a little shout out to our guy Adam Doliak, who played here for Southern Miss at the College World Series in '09. Been shooting up the country music charts, living in Nashville. Wrote that song just for us, and he'll release it later on this summer. So,
chart climber for sure. It's got a great beat to it.
Now we just got to get him back here.
It'll be the Friday night before the whole thing starts. Little concert.
Look at you. Bring back Daddy Yankee.
Well, let's get Doliak out here.
They'd both be here.
There's Tyler Brown.
There we go. Adam Doliak be happy with that.
Okay.
So we heard Eric Bakich refer to spin rate and a rising fastball. So for the people that don't quite understand what that all means, what does that all mean?
Well, here's the one thing. The thing with Hickman that's a little bit misleading is the spin rate is not incredible. What is incredible is the spin efficiency, and we'll explain what that is and why it keeps that ball on plane so well. That was the fastball right there. In essence, when the ball spins, he's throwing four-seamers, but it is as straight top-to-bottom spin as you can possibly have. So just think as that ball's going to home plate, wind's trying to act on it, but the seams are going straight north to south on a 180-degree axis, and it holds the baseball on plane a lot longer. It's that ball heading we were growing up that we would say that ball's rising. Well, it can't rise, but ultimately it stays on plane longer.
This one to center field. DeMarco going back, still going back. And he's there. Go ahead.
So really, I mean, high spin rate is ideal. But if you have high spin rate and the efficiency is not like that, if you're releasing a little bit to the side and that spin is not straight top to bottom, the ball's going to sink a little bit more because wind is going to act on those seams a little bit more. So ideally what you want is those seams to go top to bottom. If you try to throw that four-seam fastball up in the zone and have the highest spin efficiency that you possibly can. So basically when you let it go and it's a four-seamer, when it comes out, you want it as much top to bottom spin as you can. And that's what Hickman has. If you get this, if release is just a little bit to the side, our spin efficiency's down, so that spin's going a little bit more side to side, call it 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Yep.
That's when that ball will have a little bit more sink.
And the TrackMan component of it, you can improve on your spin rate. You can
quantify it is what you can. So ultimately, you can see exactly what it is, and it's that if you can combine spin rate, so a high spin rate on this pitch and a 180 spin efficiency, so as much top to bottom as you can, that's when you have that elite four-seam fastball, that one that stays on plane and can be mid-90s. There's not too many guys that can do that.
So we show the shot of Kumar Rocker. You study all these things, I know, at the major league level. Like, who are the guys, would you think? Is Scherzer a high spin rate guy? Verlander a spin rate guy?
I have them all in front of me. I'll tell you this. It's pitch dependent. All right, so, I mean,
so it could be a sail slider, high spin rate. It could be a Verlander fastball.
Exactly. And the other thing you're looking at is a variance from the norm. That's one of the biggest things. So what can guys do that most others can't? Whatever that is, let's do more of that. So if you can throw that fastball that stays on plane out of an arm angle that it generally doesn't, do more of that. Think Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell is a guy like that. It's a little bit of an outlier based on where he releases it, but yet the stuff looks different than everybody else.
And in the college component of it, for example, from Arkansas, Matt Cronin, which just got drafted by the Washington Nationals and just signed a contract, he has a high spin rate. Straight over the top. Also has that appearance as the ball's elevating. but he gets a lot of swing and misses at the top part of the zone with a good curveball over the top. The more information you have from organizations, you get those at this high level. Most of the ballparks have the TrackMan.
Two quick outs here in the sixth for Jack Blomgren, who's got a sleeper hold on Michigan. Here's that fastball. How about, remember Chris Young, who we saw earlier?
Yes.
That's a guy who's always looked like his fastball at 88.
It's those fastballs that guys will say it plays up. Well, it can play up for a few reasons. One is what we see today. The other can just be extension. If you're releasing it closer to home plate, it gets on the hitter a little bit quicker, and 91, 92 may look like 94, 95.
It's amazing how different the philosophy is in outfield positioning.
A lot more shallow. Commodores have played the entire College World Series. Their outfielders go back on the baseball very well.
This one a slow roller, fielded by Paul across the diamond. He gets his fellow shortstop. Vanderbilt in total control, leading 6-1, looking for another championship. Welcome back to the Vanderbilt Commodores 2014. They were not the best team, according to Tim Corbin, but they played the best at the right time. They, of course, had Dansby Swanson. They got big-time home runs in clutch spots. This is when the ball really wasn't flying. And as a result, they were able to win their first. After getting here in 2011, they won it in 14, fell just shy in 15 to Virginia. As you take a look at the last five, including Coastal Carolina in 16, Kevin O'Sullivan's Gators, Oregon State with that Kevin Abel performance in Game 3 last year out of the Pac-12. Big Ten hasn't won it since '66 when the Ohio State Buckeyes did it. For Michigan, it's not been since 1962. This one is launched but foul.
Corbin told me before the game that 2014 championship team reminds them a lot of this year's Michigan team. They were Cinderella. They really kind of surprised some people along the way, and then they went on to beat a very good Virginia team. And he said, I asked him, what's easier, coaching a Cinderella team or a team that is expected to win? And he said, probably my team that I have right now. It makes my job a little easier. I don't have to motivate as much. These guys know what they're doing. They have that business-like mentality.
Yeah, there's a unique mix on this team of freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors. And when you can have that mix and you can have those leaders in those roles, a guy like Julian Infante is a senior who's up here and fouls one off his leg. Stephen Scott's a senior. You know, Ethan Paul's a senior, and you mix it in with a kid like Rocker and other sophomores, you can see how it keeps turning itself over, you know?
It's all a program, you know?
It's a program.
It's when you don't have to go reload. You've just got guys that are kind of rebuild. You just reload every year, and that's what Vanderbilt has shown the ability to do. And when you get the advantage of having some seniors come back and play key offensive roles,
right,
that's when you really have a chance to win a whole thing.
Strikeout of Infante. Wheels up on Sunday. Major League Baseball across the pond. London, 2-game set. What? Red Sox and Yankees at London Stadium, which of course is the building that housed some of the 2012 Olympic Games. 3-week transformation. Now it's a Major League Baseball ballpark. Red Sox and Yankees live from London. We have it Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app. Mark Teixeira heading over there. I saw a video of Alex Rodriguez. Buster Olney taking off tomorrow. Jess and Matt will be there as well.
Forget your passport, Rav, and we're counting on you to be in the Royal Box on Saturday.
That's right.
I will wave to you, give you a shout out. I'll get you an autograph, whoever you want. Think Buffett's going to perform?
Well, they're not supposed to release that yet.
A lot of power hitters there. 385 straightaway central.
Is it really?
In London, yes.
So the Yankees streak of consecutive games with homers should continue. We pegged the over-under at 177 when we were doing a game earlier this year, that they would hit a home run in roughly 177 straight games. Where are they now? 29?
Well, on their way too. Yes. DJ LeMahieu again, another home run.
It's 12 this year.
Red Sox blew a game today. The Yankees blew a game today. The Yankees won their game. The Red Sox lost. Next year, Cubs and Cardinals will be in London. Who are some of the favorites to be back here next year?
I think you got to put Vanderbilt on that short list. You've got Hickman and Rocker going 1-2 and put them in whatever order you want. That's pretty good to start. Look across that board in the outfield. See what everybody's got coming back. Auburn should be loaded. Jack Owen announced he will not sign. Edouard Julian announced he would not sign. He'll be back at Auburn next year. You get a new head coach of your alma mater, Eddie, and I love it. Mike Martin Jr. takes over for his father, the all-time winningest coach in baseball.
All eyes are going to be on him.
I love it.
Mississippi State, they're not a rebuild, they're a reload, but boy, Jake Mango made an incredible impression on everybody through his 4 years there.
Now he's a Met. It's going to be fun to watch Jake get into a professional system and see his ascension. I think he will end up in Queens someday.
That's going to be interesting because also Antoine Duplantis from LSU was drafted by the Mets.
Call strike to Blade, who showed a little frustration in the fact that it was apparently almost a pitch out. But Perry Costello called it a strike.
It's such a simple move, Eddie. It is such a simple move. And when guys look like this at the plate, I always wanted to see guys at the plate that had a bunch of moving parts because it felt like you could do something to get their timing off. Blade just doesn't move much. And he stands in there. He always looks comfortable, even on the takes.
Criswell came on in relief. He's nearing the 50 pitch count. On the 2-2. Call strike 3. Blade thought that was ball 4. Would have only been ball 3. I don't think he was conceding the strikeout. But that's what happened.
Well, we saw one pitch on the line. And this slider completely around the plate. Perry Costello on the opposite side of the pitch calls Blade out. Blade does not agree.
Chris Button down to the field. Eduardo Perez, Kyle Peterson, Carl Ravitch up here. Mason Hickman, take a seat. What a night. After he gave up 3 consecutive hits to start the game, he gave up 1 more. Lasted 6, 1 run. It was earned 3 walks and 10 Ks, 101 pitches. 63 of them were for strikes. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered. Yes. Mason Hickman.
I think a mindset, too. If you're on that Vanderbilt bench when the 4th hitter of the ball game comes up, 1 run's already scored, 2 guys are on. Hickman's given up 3 hits. After that, he gives up just 1. Now the left-hander Jake Eder on to try to bridge a gap to the closer, Tyler Brown. You would think we will see both, potentially Eder for 2, Brown for 1 to finish this thing off. He comes in with a 5-run cushion.
Think about Hickman, too. Against Louisville, he didn't have his best stuff when that game started. The first 8 batters of that game, hit batter, wild pitch, single, pass ball, and then he settled in and he gave you a good outing against Louisville. In this one, obviously wasn't a good start. He gives you the same 6 innings, and he's got Vanderbilt in a great spot as they attempt to win a College World Series title for the 2nd time. All right, Eddie, what are you doing here if you're Michigan? Get a new pitcher on the mound. How do you get this engine started?
That's actually the positive, because Hickman had their number after that first inning. Try to see a different look. And we've seen psychologically with all these teams in the College World Series, once you have a pitcher that's dominated at the beginning, you get a different look. There's a little life to that bench.
Tyler Brown out there gives a big hug to Hickman, the starter. Eater, fastball.
I like that move from Hickman, and he did it his first start here too. He spent some time in the bullpen this year. There's not a lot of times you see a starter come out and they immediately go down to the bullpen to hang with their bullpen guys. I think that's cool. You go down, he's been down there part of the year. Quite comfortable down there. There's also a bathroom down there too, so that could have had something to do with it. But he just he's just hanging out.
Those are his peeps down there.
I mean, he feels more comfortable down there. Ooh.
No swing, and
I see it working though.
Donovan didn't even start to run to first on what would have been a third strike that got to the backstop.
Adam Dowdy calling him no swing. Telling Infante at first base, I see you working, trying to sell it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say that.
So 3-2 here as we start the 7th inning. Leadoff hitter down by 5, looking to get a little something cooking. That one's high. I should say 3-2 now. Back-to-back pitches that have gone to the backstop, though. So we get Brown out there, and given that we're in the 7th and they're 9 outs away, he's on the clock. What an amazing story that guy is. The idea that he threw 40 pitches last night and would already be up and was out there early in this game, not a surprise to those who know Tyler Brown. This kid that was chopping wood as a 9-year-old to feed the wood stove at his house in Ohio during the wintertime. One down as Donovan strikes out. When he was 13, his mom was dealing with cancer, and it collapsed in his arms. He carried his mom to the car and drove her to the hospital as a 13-year-old. She later passed away when Brown dealt with the divorce of his parents. He moved in with a friend and a family there, and there was a tragic ending to that household as well. He was finally adopted by Braden and Karen Oswalt. And they realized, my goodness, has this poor kid been neglected? Ground ball to short. 2 men down. He had been so neglected that he was reading at a 3rd grade level. He had undiagnosed dyslexia. So think about the things that he's dealt with already in his life. He and his mom would watch CC Sabathia pitch from Ohio. He was, of course, pitching for the Cleveland Indians. Tim Corbin went to see him after that 2014 title we keep referring to. And the first pitch he saw Brown throw was 94. The next one was 83. And the kid that's dealt with all that said, I couldn't feel my arm. It was purple. He tore his UCL at that point. And a lot of other coaches were obviously on a kid that could throw a 95. Corbin said, I'm gonna keep an eye on you. I'm not giving up. I've seen what you've had to get through. I'm gonna keep in touch. And he did. Just before he enrolls at Vanderbilt, Tyler Brown has to go and have a meeting with Tim Corbin and says, my girlfriend and I are going to have a baby. Isabel Rose was born in March of 2018 with Down syndrome and holes in her heart. And I got to believe, as you know the story and you're hearing it at home, you're like, enough. It's enough for Tyler Brown. She's had multiple surgeries. She's now doing fine. And to hear him and his optimism and his positive attitude about raising Isabel Rose is incredible. we'll get a chance, I think, to see him come in this game and put a exclamation point on a life and career that, as he says now, I wouldn't change for anything.
I get blessed with having a daughter with Down syndrome, and that's helped me because I was just blessed that I get to be her parent. And I think it's one of the biggest blessings in my life, knowing that I always loved working with kids with special needs when I was little, and I get this one, and it literally melts my heart thinking about that. I was blessed and lucky enough that God would put her in my life.
What an amazing story. And Carl, as you and I sat in and listened to Tyler, what was resonating was over and over how he said blessed, and that Isabella has 35 other uncles on this team that watch out for him. And for Tim Corbin, you know, he was the only one that didn't give up on him when he had to have Tommy John surgery. And Corbin said, he's the only player I've ever had who's had to come tell me that he was going to have a child. But I've seen what this guy can go through. And knowing that, he's a fighter. And the pressure situations of going out, having to make a save are nothing compared to what this guy has gone through. Nope.
And there's a really bright future for Brown off the field, but on the field as well. I mean, KP, this kid was at 14, and you almost understand the UCL surgery, but at 14 he was throwing 92 miles an hour. At 14.
Mid-90s now. It's a big-time slider. He's become a big-time leader on this Vanderbilt team and throughout the entire program. And you hear all of that, you can understand why.
Ethan Paul rolls it over to Akeo Thomas, who throws him out. Bottom 7-1 down.
You can see the difference also when Criswell was in the bullpen throwing all the time. Brown in the bullpen just pacing himself. Has a routine.
He retired 8 in a row. Anytime Vandy pitchers have retired the last 10. Strike one. That's spinning, and it's going to be stopped over there at third. Nelson's long throw, he had no chance. And they got a couple of guys backing up, but they had the shift on, and it was down the third base line. Our next UFC Fight Night, Saturday, 9 Eastern. The heavyweight main event should be a slugfest. Francis Ngannou taking on the former champ Junior Dos Santos. The Target Center in Minneapolis is where you'll see that. UFC Fight Night Saturday, 9 Eastern, ESPN and the ESPN app. You wonder how much of the energy was taken out of Michigan when Wogu got hurt last night, and what role that guy has at the top of that order.
Has to have an effect.
I would think.
Leadoff hitter, highest on base percentage. A guy that can steal a bag when he gets on there, can run a ball out of the ballpark.
Takes a lot of pitches also, and just the energy he creates on the base paths.
One to Pat DeMarco. Well, they've been one of the best teams in the country, and they have just kind of worn down Michigan in this one with real solid pitching and those back-to-back innings with 3 and 2 runs. On the ground in the hole, Lundgren, Thomas to first, not in time.
Slow developing play here. You only are going to get one. DeMarco runs quickly. One of those Thomas with a nice turn, but just too much speed on the bases. Going down the line with DeMarco.
Steven Scott's been a very good hitter for Vanderbilt here in Omaha.
He's been a difference maker. Home runs he's hit. Big bases loaded hit up the middle.
Up the back.
So, KP, we've seen a big change in the managers at the major league level. The guys that don't have to have a lot of managerial experience, former players, relatable to the current players. Is there a new age of coach at the college ranks compared to when you played? Is it the same type of personalities? Are there different requirements on these guys?
The one thing we've seen change the most, and I don't think it's just in college baseball. I think in many ways it's college sports in general, is coaches that will adapt to the personality of their team instead of teams adapting to the personality of their coach. And both of these coaches the exact same way. DeMarco in there, stolen base number 7 on the year for Pat DeMarco. But I don't know that Tim Corbin has always been that way. And for a lot of these guys, it takes time, and it takes being in the position for a long period of time and having more confidence to take your hands off the reins, which both of these have here. You just see the way that their teams react.
You evolve also as time goes on. Technology takes you to different places, and the ability to delegate, I believe, is the best strength that any head coach can have.
But a little different. I mean, you're dealing with these kids and the ages that they're at versus the major league players, where you can delegate, but you've got to make sure, because these guys are a little more prone to activities that the major leaguers wouldn't be. You've got to keep an eye on them.
Trust but verify.
There you go.
And when players feel like they have trust, it becomes infectious. I mean, you get leaders that grow out of that, and it breeds more trust along the way.
How would you two describe your college experience versus your professional experience, regardless of injuries and things like that? Because I know a lot of guys at the major league level who will tell you your college experience was the best of their life. How would you compare the two? That one's into left, and that's going to get down. DeMarco steps on third. He comes in to score. And an RBI for Harrison Ray.
Vandy keeps adding on, and again with 2 outs. Another big base hit. Fastball, Ray joins the party. And the experience between college and professional baseball, completely different. It's not only hard on the player, it's hard on the parents also, because now you're just giving all those duties, everything. Yes, you're 18, you're an adult, but now the parents, which have coached you and taught you your entire way to college, hands off. You have to be able to trust that head coach. And we even asked Coach Corbin, how do you deal with the parents? And he goes, they know.
I don't.
I don't.
Yeah, if it comes to baseball, once they show up, then it's hands off from a parental standpoint, which I think is very healthy.
And you leave every stone unturned, especially with the freshmen. You don't assume a single thing. He has classes that he teaches them how to brush their teeth, about hygiene, and it could be anything on any given day.
I heard.
I can just tell you this, from my standpoint, answering your question, if I sign out of high school, which I didn't get drafted out of high school, but if I had, my life's massively different. And I can virtually guarantee you that I never make it to the major leagues because I wasn't mentally ready. I get to college, and I'm not saying I'm mentally ready now, but at least the 3 years you have in college, I mean, you grow up and
no doubt.
You learn the ways of the world a little bit and what life's all about.
And it's not just baseball, it's classroom activities. There's so many other things that are involved in it. You want to be able to live and breathe baseball 24/7. We get that. But at the same time, you have to have that responsibility of being able to get that education, going to that classroom.
Well, that's what David Price tells you about Vanderbilt. It's not the baseball experience that he found to be the most beneficial. It's all the other stuff that went with it. Strike 3 there. Both these schools providing a phenomenal experience for their players. In fact, most of the colleges do the same. What a night in Omaha, especially for the Commodores. 8th inning, 7-1.
I mean, day one, everybody came onto campus, you know, all the pieces have just meshed really well. It just comes down to the chemistry, you know, we've just bonded really well. I guess day one could be considered the day after we lost to Mississippi State last year, so I definitely thought that it was possible since then.
This is not a Cinderella story for sure. The Vanderbilt Commodores knew this was possible, and with all the talent they have, it certainly should have been possible. Tim Corbin's got a bunch of real mature players, and as a result find themselves leading 7-1. Hustling into second, diving head first with a double, and a good way to show we're not done yet. Jesse Franklin leads things off.
Well, this is what happens. You're down 7-1, but it does not matter. The Wolverines play like this all year round. They're going to continue to attack.
All right, then. At the part of this Michigan lineup that can do some damage. Double-digit home runs for Brewer and Kerr coming up to follow that leadoff double from Franklin.
Here's the Big Ten Player of the Year, Jordan Brewer. Talk about a kid who was sort of down and out in Beverly Hills. Jordan Brewer was at a community college and was off all the radars. Well, he is on every radar now. Freakish athlete. Reminds me a little bit of George Springer, and
thinking the same thing.
What he's able to do.
Yes. Thinking the same thing.
Well,
maybe
then we
no
need
coincidence that the Astros take him.
We need to shut that down. Yep. Time for us to separate.
You are welcome.
Ooh. Chased a 3-0 pitch.
Yeah, it would have been 3-0 right here. 2-0 pitch up in the zone, way up. He's been able to handle pitch, let her high. But not that high.
Towards the seats. Oh, good running catch over there. No, did Infante get the out call or not? Yes, he did on the transfer.
Good call by David Savage in right field. Saw it all the way, but a great play by Infante. Checked to see where he was, not once but twice. Reaches out. See right there on the transfer. Drops that baseball.
Tough running play for Julian Infante. Shift on now for Jimmy Kerr. Right down Broadway, strike one. Talked a lot about the Vanderbilt pedigree. Don't forget our good buddy, the Hall of Famer Barry Larkin. Michigan alum Jim Abbott, Chris Sabo,
Tom Morris.
Tom Morris was there. Kerr's gone. That was an Jimmy Kerr swing relative to this College World Series. 2 men down. Friday night, 10 Eastern, ESPN, the IBF lightweight champ Richard Comey defends his belt. First time against the WBO lightweight champ Ray Beltran. Our top-ranked boxing main event. You can stream the undercards on ESPN Plus in English and Spanish starting at 7 Eastern time.
Old teammate of mine in the Seattle Mariners, J.J. Putz, was here yesterday.
And that one's in the left field. That's going to get down. That's going to bring in the second run of the night for Michigan. As Nelson into second base, and a little life for the Maize and Blue.
Good to see from the senior right there. Blake Nelson getting another chance in this ballpark. First pitch fastball right here from Eder, and that's a good push. Down the left field line, adds another. Michigan's not done yet now. You know they'll stay aggressive, and given the run that this team has been on, one of the last 4 teams in the NCAA tournament, they're not going to give up until there's no outs left.
They got 4 to play with. Here's Christian Bullock. Earlier this week, Eric Bakich made that comment to Chris Budden that he wanted his entire team to really look like the United States of America. Bullock is one of a couple of kids from the Chicago, Illinois area. He and Akeo Thomas. And that really resonated. It caught fire. Heck of a way to sell the program, and this has definitely been a World Series in which the look on the field has been a little more diverse than we've seen in years past.
Let's hope that continues.
Sure.
Everywhere.
How about yesterday, Kumar Rocker also starting the game with Isaiah Page, 2 African-American kids on the bump in a College World Series game.
Of course, Major League Baseball and others with their seed programs in the inner cities. And both of these staffs, of course, Bakich learned under Corbin, but you go mine talent wherever you can find it. Down to third, Nelson on a steal. We'll call that a strike to even it up at 2-2.
I like that Blake Nelson took third there. 90 feet closer. Anything can happen right here. Infield base hit. That run scores. You keep pecking away.
Bullock's gone, and Vandy is 3 outs away from a College World Series championship. They'll bat in the bottom of the 8th when we come back. 9-1-2 duo. Yeah, dimensions from home plate, 330 to the foul poles and 385 to center. The dimensions can be described as being potentially hitter-friendly. Unless they use marshmallows, it's going to be hitter-friendly.
And potentially this could be Julian Infante's last at-bat in the Vandy uniform.
0-2 on the ground is short. Blomgren is there. There's 1 down. Good chance to thank Our entire crew, on behalf of those of us that sit up here, who without we would never look nearly as good or sound as good as we do, to our producer tonight, Scott Gustafson, our director, Scott Johnson, the day crew with Mr. Schofield, the Jeff Evers. And I know it's not thousands, but my goodness, they certainly feel like the thousands behind the scenes that turn this into a 2-week home and make everyone sound and look so comfortable.
You mentioned Scott Johnson, our director, 30 years.
Well, that guy's been here 29 years. Ken Ayers, this is the last College World Series that he'll work. He'll be doing plenty of work, just closer to home in Indianapolis. And got everybody sign a base for him the other day. Kent's a good man. Does this, does Little League World Series. So many people that have done this event for so many years, and it's cool to see how many people want to keep coming back. I think it's a testament to the event itself.
Sign me up for as long as we can do it. Another one to Blomgren. And scooped out of the dirt by Kerr. It extends way beyond, too, the people that are here. This is a company-wide, obviously, endeavor that takes all sorts of support systems. And remember, there's generally 2 games.
Thank you.
2 games each day until we get into the single days. But it has run as smoothly as I can recall this season. And now J.J. Bleday steps up in what will be his last college at bat. Got word that Derek Jeter was, of course, in Miami watching the Marlins game, but while he was at the Marlins game, he was watching the College World Series and checking out his prize pick, J.J. Bleday.
You would expect that J.J. would sign here pretty quick. Get on with the professional career. That's a name that you're going to hear for a long time at the major league level.
A researcher up here in the booth, Mark Comento, Dave Dare, our floor director. Dare's in his 36th year at the College World Series. 36 big boys. Three 3-0 to J.J. Bleday.
I would not be surprised if they give him the green light right here.
Bleday walks, and it's the 3rd time he's been on tonight.
Tell you this, Chris Wells done his job. He's kept.
Yeah, he has.
He's given his offense an opportunity.
You just felt like for Michigan to have a chance in this game, it needed to be a 2-pitcher game. Now, ultimately, it was a 2-pitcher game. They had to go to Jeff Criswell maybe a little bit earlier than they wanted to, but he's been able to get them all the way to the end. Now they just need to see if they can get the bats going in the 9th.
You saw that shot of Brown, who was saved 3 games this College World Series, only 1 in World Series history, saved 4. Houston Street did it back for the Longhorns in 2002. Brown can tie a College World Series record for games finished. It would be his 5th one if, in fact, he finishes this one. Ethan Paul gets a hit, and they go station to station. We talked about it during the finals. The idea that you use 3 pitchers, which Michigan has done all really series long, and the challenges it presents when one of the wheels breaks a little bit. I mean, it is hard to do.
It is, but it was the method they had to follow, and it got them to this point.
Sure.
It was necessary.
Absolutely it was.
But I wonder what Bakich takes from an experience like this with regards to that. If anything, maybe he says, hey, it worked. Look, we were in the finals.
Without a doubt. I think that's exactly what you do.
This one into right field. It's going to get down in front of Brewer. He slips, fires it back in. And Baudet touches home. Philip Clark's third hit. He's been on 4 times. RBI 8-2.
80 pitches in, and Criswell, he's feeling it right now. That fastball is just staying up. Just going across the zone. They're asking him to get one more out. Vandy relentless.
$332,054, the College World Series attendance. Many thanks to the millions that are watching at home and on the ESPN app.
Let's go.
A very competitive College World Series, with all but one game until this one being decided by 3 runs or less. Earlier this week, Michigan put 15 on the board. That was the blowout game, and now they're down by 6. The 8 runs for Vanderbilt tonight, many as it had in its first 2 games, and the most in any game so far at this College World Series. It's not a question of going back to the drawing board for Bakich or even Corbin. They've been at the drawing board with regards to speaking to recruits and all the coaches that are here in Omaha, calling recruits day in, day out, nighttime. Hey, want to make sure you know we're still interested in you? We're here in Omaha. Wouldn't you love to be a part of this? 9th inning coming up. 7-8-9, last chance for the Wolverines. Eder stays out. When will we see Brown? Because he's coming in, right?
Sure seems like it. He's not just playing catch out in that Vanderbilt bullpen.
What do you have, heads or tails?
What's a ball, what's a strike? Heads it is. DeMarco under it, 1 down here in the 9th. Michigan knocked off the overall #1 seed, UCLA. Had a chance to try to take care of the #2 overall national seed in Vanderbilt. Tyler Brown out in that bullpen. Looks like he's tying his shoes.
You know what? Vandy may just roll with Eder.
Think so?
Brown threw over 40 pitches last night. If you don't have to tax him right here, there's no need to. Maybe just let Eder finish this thing off. If there's any traffic, then you can go to Brown.
Chases it. Strike 3, and they're 1 out away from a national championship. Brown stays in the bullpen. Eder will face Riley Bertram. 94 miles an hour, strike 1.
Some giddy up now.
They get this guy back next year too. Eder just a sophomore. You can tell that the adrenaline of the final out he's feeling.
This Vanderbilt staff has struck out 40 Michigan hitters in this College World Series finals. They've been overwhelming. They are all set to hop over the railing and dogpile here at TD Ameritrade. Be careful. Rocker's a big fella.
They won their division in the SEC. They won the tournament in Hoover. Regionals, super regionals. One more left. This is it.
I got you. Full count.
The battle continues. Riley Bertram keeps fouling balls off.
He's not giving in yet. Worked his count to 3-2.
Most of the folks inside TD Ameritrade on their feet. And cameras are rolling. Not yet. Press pause.
K.O. Thomas, the senior, he was in the 9-hole for Michigan throughout this entire tournament until today. Injury to Jordan Wogu pushes him up into the leadoff spot in the lineup. He'll try to keep this one alive for Michigan.
He led the game off with a single and scored a run. Michigan led the game off with back-to-back-to-back singles. There's another ball high.
So that adrenaline is pumping. All the fastballs have been missing up.
That's better in there for a strike. The way Mason Hickman settled in, and the Vanderbilt lead of 6-1 after 4. It's felt very much like a midweek game because they really stifled this Michigan offense. 6 hits. They didn't get a chance to run the bases. A stranglehold.
6 hits, and they had 3 hits with nobody out in the first inning.
1-1 to Thomas. What a run it's been for the team that was one of the last 4 into the field. These Michigan Wolverines didn't even know the day that the field was announced if they would hear their name. They've taken Vanderbilt to the brink. That's going to get to the seats. And once again, Jake Eder and the Commodores 1 strike away from a championship. Center field, DeMarco. There to make the catch. Anchored down. Vanderbilt on top of the college baseball world again. Dog pile of doors on the diamond here at TD Ameritrade. Right in the middle of it, the freshman Kumar Rocker and all the emotion and energy that went into this thing for Tim Corbin.
Well, you have to know there's some emotion right here, too. Tim Corbin walks across the field. That's Nick Schnabel. The last hand that he will shake of the Michigan coaches is his former assistant, the guy that helped him build this Vanderbilt program. The guy that he had never played until this setting in Eric Bakich.
Probably be more than a handshake, and there is the hug and embrace. Tonight, the mentor beat the protege, the teacher beat the student. But in a lot of ways, there's a big contribution from Bakich to this championship. In fact, Corbin has said there is no Vanderbilt baseball program without Eric Bakich.
And this will not be the last time we'll see Michigan here at the College World Series. There's something going and something special. But it's Vandy's year this year.
Regular season SEC champs, the SEC tournament champs, and now the national champs. School record for wins and maybe the most impressive season that Vanderbilt's ever had.
59th win of the season against only 12 losses. Well, that's the basketball jam there, Memorial Coliseum in Nashville, as many of the fans of the Commodores celebrate. Hopkins Field, of course, the same way. And obviously a disappointing night for Eric Bakich in Michigan, as hard as it is to get here. All right, Chris is with the head coach, Tim Corbin.
Congratulations, Coach Corbin. Where are the emotions right now?
They're good. I mean, I'm just happy for everyone. I mean, the staff, the players made it happen. They're a very deserving group. They've done so many consistent things during the course of the year. It's hard to really put into words, but they're very deserving. They've backed up their actions in every game throughout the year. It's been incredible to watch.
What did you tell your good friend Eric Backage at the end of the game?
Oh, I mean, you know, those are personal things, but he knows how much I care about him, and you know, it's tough to be on that other side. I get it, but he's put together a remarkable year with those guys. That's elite pitching, where they came from, and getting through the Big Ten tournament, and winning a regional, and getting through UCLA, and they gave us everything that we wanted and more.
You've said so many times that this team was different. What was it about the makeup of this team that made this moment possible?
It's maturity. It's just maturity and the ability to stay centered for a long period of time. I said that. I don't have another word for it. I mean, they've just stayed very localized in what they're doing. They've stayed together. It really helps to have 7 seniors back, and 7 seniors deserve this. It's been a long 4 years for them in a lot of different ways, and it came full circle for them, and I'm very happy for all of them.
We talk about those seniors, and they've been through a lot, the loss of a teammate. How fitting is this end for their career?
It's very fitting, and you always don't get what you want in life, and they're just fortunate. We're fortunate that we get to do this, but we lived through that. We lost our athletic director and this past year, and David Williams. So for Gail Williams, this is a gift, and for the Everetts, it's a gift. For Vanderbilt University and these fans up here, it's a gift for everyone. Very happy for them.
I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Donnie Everett would have been a senior this year. His folks here to celebrate in the championship. Hey, let's look at our Capital One Tournament Most Outstanding Player. Not a bad freshman year for Kumar Rocker. A 1.46 ERA. He went 2-0 here. He struck out 17, walked only 3 in 12 in the third. You start game 2 when you've already lost game 1. I mean, he stopped it, and he set up this night.